as it appears there could be two ways to think about it. I will be counting presidents only after they have been sworn in and until their deaths. Or, to rephrase your question a little, the number of living presidents and former presidents. You could also attempt to count the number of would-be presidents that are alive at the same time. This would be more like asking, of the 45 men that have been president, what is the most of them that have been alive all at the same time? Hopefully this is the interpretation you were looking for. Please let me know in the comments down below if you meant it the other way around. The most presidents that have been alive all at once is 6. This has actually happened 5 different times since 1861, when Abraham Lincoln was sworn in on March 4th, 1861. Martin Van Buren, John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, and James Buchanan were all still alive, marking the first time that 6 presidents were all alive at the same time. Unfortunately, this would not happen again until 1993, when Bill Clinton became the 6th living president alongside Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. Nixon died the next year in 1994, so when George W. Bush became president in 2001, we had 6 living presidents for the 3rd time. Reagan and Ford both died before Barack Obama was elected, so it was not until Donald Trump's first term that we had 6 living presidents for the 4th time. Carter, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump. Bush Sr. died in 2018, so Joe Biden's election in 2020 made him the 6th living president for the 5th time. With Carter's passing in 2024, we are currently back down to 5 living presidents, which means that about 3 years from now, assuming nothing bad happens, we will once again have the opportunity to have 6 living presidents. Thank you so much for that question. There were a couple of other oddities I noticed when I made a timeline of events, so I may revisit this topic soon and just share a few of those little things that I found. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. This next question comes from Asna. Are all berries berries? No. I'm not sure if this is what you're referencing, but it very much made me think of this comic. The joke here being that while we use the word berry to describe many different fruits, science and the culinary arts have different words to describe the fruiting bodies of plants. This is where you will sometimes hear the argument, there's no such thing as a vegetable, since botanists do not use the word vegetable for categorizing plant types. Anyhow, let's see if we can identify how many fruits are named berry, how many of those are actually berries, and what else counts as a berry. Or at least that's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I could not find a comprehensive list of true berries, the botanical term used to separate those out from non-berry culinary berries. So I can tell you which berries are not berries, but I don't think I can tell you which fruits and vegetables without the word berry in their name are actually berries. Chokeberries and shadbush berries, also known as service berries or June berries, are what is known as an accessory fruit and are not actual berries. Bunchberries, coffee berries, crowberries, also known as mossberries or rockberries, curry berries, guava berries or rumberries, hackberries, silverberries or autumn berries, lemonade berries, buffalo berries or bullberries, water berries, white aspen berries, and sunna berries are all classified as drupes rather than as berries. Drupes are distinguished by the hard, woody layer that forms around their seeds, like those of stone fruits like peaches, plums, olives, or coconuts. Lime berries, while berry-like, are actually members of the citrus family. American beauty berries, raspberries, blackberries, balloon berries, also known as roseberries or strawberry raspberries, strawberries, mulberries, boysenberries, brambleberries, cloudberries, also known as Nordic berries, knotberries, or salmonberries, dewberries, emu berries, loganberries, mock strawberries or snakeberries, pine berries, tayberries, thimbleberries, wineberries, and young berries are what is known as aggregate fruits. As the name implies, they are small clusters of many fruits produced from a single flower. Copperleaf snowberries, eastern tea berries, also known as checkerberries or boxberries, and mountain snowberries or alpine waxberries are classified as capsules. These fruits are pods formed from multiple carpels, the female portion of the flower. Juniper berries and yew berries are considered fruit-like, at least enough that a grocery store might stock them in the fruit section, but are not actually fruits. They are both actually seed cones, as these both come from coniferous plants. So, there you have it. It seems that we humans have slapped the word berry onto a great deal of fruits with no regard for its specific meaning. In truth, we use berry colloquially to mean small edible fruits, which many of the aforementioned fruits are. In any case, this was a great question. Thanks for asking. This question comes from SkyGuy91. What are all the different vehicles in the Kirby Air Ride series? Well, this only really became a series very recently, but yeah, okay. Let's talk about Kirby Air Ride. Mild spoilers ahead. 2003's Kirby Air Ride and its 2025 sequel, Kirby Air Riders, is a Mario Kart-esque racing game starring the titular Kirby. There are 3 different game modes to play on, each with their own selection of vehicles. Air Ride, the multi-lap racing mode of the game, featured these: the Warp Star, the Slick Star, the Winged Star, the Formula Star, the Shadow Star, the Swerve Star, the Rocket Star, the Wagon Star, the Turbo Star, the Jet Star, the Bulk Star, the Wheelie Bike, the Wheelie Scooter, and the Rex Wheelie. City Trial, the timed adventure exploration mode of the game, featured all of the previous vehicles, as well as the Flight Warp Star and the Compact Star as basic vehicles, and the Dragoon and the Hydra as legendary vehicles that needed to be built before they could be ridden. Top Ride, the 2D top-down mode, as the name suggests, featured all the same vehicles as Air Ride, plus the Free Star and the Steer Star. In addition to these vehicles, in Air Ride, players could also play as King DDD, who rides a wheelie bike, or as Meta Knight, who glides through the courses without the need of a star. The newly released Kirby Air Riders uses all of the original game's vehicles for Air Ride and City Trial, but also adds City Trial also adds 2 new unlockable legendary vehicles to build, Gigantes and Leo. Thank you so much for that question. This was one of my favorite games growing up, and I really liked going back and remembering which vehicles you could use. Thank you again to Tiny Tim, Asna, and Sky Guy 91. If you would like to have your question answered in a video, leave it in a comment below this one. If you would prefer to ask your question a little more privately, you can email me your question at questionsandasmr@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more questions like these every week. Thanks again for listening.